It's a U.S. foreign policy vehicle. You have to understand, everything USAID does by charter is dual use. Under the cover of humanitarian work, they so-called advance U.S. national interests by accomplishing some goal in the region. Now, they don't actually accomplish U.S. national interests in the region. What they do is they accomplish the commercial or political goals of a very small secular elite within the United States and their international partners. So, for example, I've published about hundreds of different USAID scandals, from them claiming to run AIDS prevention clinics in Cuba and in all over South America, and it turns out that the AIDS prevention clinics were actually covers for undercover agents to sow anti-government dissent and to try to organize a revolution in the country. You had the case of Zunzuneo, where USAID took humanitarian funds earmarked for Pakistan and created a fake knockoff Twitter social media site where USAID documents explicitly stated in their own internal documents that the plan was to get 100,000 people in the country to join up to this social media service, luring them in with news feeds predominated by sports, news, and hurricane updates. And then at the appropriate moment, once enough people were onboarded, to hit them with messages to overthrow their government and take to the streets in smart mobs. You see this time and time again. You will see all over the news and all over these USAID HQ protests today and all over X from the intelligence community and military and statecraft blob folks. You will see them say, but USAID is funding irrigation canals and famine. If they are doing irrigation canal work, it is because they are trying to control the river systems in the country, in Ethiopia. Or, for example, when they were irrigating the fields in Afghanistan. Well, guess what they were doing there? They were growing the heroin supply. As their companion, the U.S. Institute for Peace, was lobbying the Taliban to keep the heroin supplies flowing, because it would be bad for Afghanistan and the world if they shut down the poppy crops. USAID was funding, the irrigation of those crops in order to keep the supply of heroin flowing. You see this time and time again. If they are doing famine relief projects, it is to control the food supply and therefore control the population and supplement that with sanctions work to make people angry against their government or dependent on the U.S. to dole out that food. Then, and take, for example, the job fairs. I just posted this just yesterday, and I've talked about this many times in the past 3 years. Mark Milley and Joe Biden in 2021 in their Special Forces prospectus game planned how USAID could do job fairs in poor countries in order to get people to take to the streets and riot and go on strike from their jobs, and so that it would help U.S. military operations by having USAID give free no-show jobs to Africans striking in race riots in Africa in order to basically, so it's a humanitarian job fair. But no, it's actually not. It's actually serving the dual purpose of rent-a-riots being organized by USAID. So USAID is just a mutant baby of the CIA and the State Department with a little top-up support to the U.S. military. And I could go on and on about this, but there's a lot of moving pieces to this story.